Okay, so welcome to this week's Health Talk 365. What does 365 mean? 365 days of the year. We are looking after our health, and that's what we are talking about with Dr. Joseph Ahrens. And we are very privileged, and I'm very honoured to be able to bring him to this platform each week to each and every one of you, whether you be in the USA, whether you be in Canada, whether you be in the UK, Australia. We really thank you and we really appreciate you tuning in on the topics each week. And we also are very grateful for what you do in regards to committing to supporting us with Dr. Joseph Ahrens brand with the Facebook groups, because we try to put information in there to help you, blogs and so forth. But today's topic is a very exciting one for me. And as I was saying earlier, prior to starting this with Dr. Ahrens, was that I used to teach yoga, so, meditation, those types of things, because we're talking about meditation today and getting the day started on the right foot, or rather mentally, getting yourself prepared and being selfish or investing in getting your day set up for in the right way going forward. So let's get this moving. First of all and foremost, how are you, Dr. Ahrens?
Well, I'm fine. I'm raring to go. A little stormy here outside, but inside the roof's not dripping, so I'm really happy.
So I want to say to you, as I said earlier, we look at the mat. We're going to talk about getting on the mat, like the exercise mat, the yoga mat. And I did bring props to the table. So looking about like the foam roller, these are all things that you can do, I believe, and looking at the importance of time, taking time out for yourself to be able to set your day up well. So I know Dr. Ahrens started last week, and what his aim is on these topics as we go forward is to talk about what he does. He's a man with a lot of experience behind him. He's been around the 365 days of the year sun just a few times, 21 years at least. And so he's going to bring to the table his personal thoughts and experiences so we can actually listen to him and take some tips from it and try it ourselves and see how we go from there. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Ahrens, and let us have a bit of insight into how you start your day and why.
Well, yeah, I do have the props I bring to the table or myself. I told my dad one time, look, you should follow what I tell you. I'm the picture of health. And he said, yeah, it was a pretty bad picture. You should have got your money back. But yeah, he was a character. You think I'm something? He was a character. Well, this is the new year still, the first month of the year, and we're talking about establishing priorities in your life. People like to make those promises to themselves that they always forget in a couple of weeks. But, there's a couple of things you ought to make some resolutions. And, one of them is getting better health. Now, our job here is actually to just guide you. It's not like I don't sit up here and have all the answers to everything, but I've reviewed a lot of material, and a lot of the work, some of it I've done my own research on, original research. I know a lot about biochemistry, physiology. That's what I am. Actually, I'm a physiologist. That means I study the science and chemistry of life. And as we have gone over the last couple of 100 years, especially the last 50 years, we are learning more and more about the chemistry of life and how it affects you. And, it used to be not too long ago, even when I was a kid, well, that is a long time ago, a lot of health professionals, particularly medical doctors, did not believe in anything what we're going to talk about tonight. Yet, today, you can find the medical journals full of this type of research because the eyes have been opened. And I'm going to talk about two things tonight. One of them is having a routine. And the other is, the first part of that routine, for me at least, is practicing meditation. So routines, we routinely come on this call every week. It just means something you do about the same time in a cycle. The routines I'm going to talk about, though, are the ones you do on a daily basis, because our bodies have a clock inside them. We've talked about that, when you ought to go to sleep. We've talked about some of the chemistry that changes in your body throughout the day. We now know that there's actual nanometers, 400 nanometers of light. That's a certain wavelength that changes the chemistry in your body. It promotes serotonin. It destroys melatonin. That starts you on the process of waking up and eventually going to sleep at night. So these are real chemical responses to light. And we didn't know about that not too long ago. We thought, oh, you go out and get sunlight. Yeah, it's a wives' tale. No, it's really true. There's chemistry behind it. So now we know you need to get that white blue wavelength. You could even buy devices at a store online that you put in your face in the morning. You know, if you live in a cave and can't get any good light, you could actually flood yourself with that light. And if it's a proper device that really does deliver 400 to 480 nanometers, it actually will work. That is proved over and over. Measuring people's blood, seeing the changes in the serotonin and melatonin. Actually, routine does something very similar. Routine, just having a routine. Now, most of the things I talk about have maybe this much, that much impact on your life taken by themselves. But you put in all 10 or 15 of the things we talk about, it makes a huge impact on your life. So I recommend that you don't disregard this. Now, routine, it actually reduces stress in your body. Routine. Now, here's a very interesting scientific article I recently read. Any decision that we make causes stress in our bodies. Even good decisions, even happy decisions, either what ride do you want to go on at Disney World, actually triggers cortisol. And cortisol is, we call it the stress hormone. What does cortisol do? Well, it ends up kicking off tumor necrosis factor alpha. You've heard me talk about that a lot. And then you get a flood of cytokines, and the result is inflammation. Now, this is actually a beneficial, healthy process because it is telling us to be alert. Something's going to happen. You've got to make a decision. Wake up, brain lights up, pupils dilate, heart beats faster, breathing is deeper, blood pressure rises, and the circulation is increased, more oxygen, because you're talking about survival. Now, here we are in 2022, and we're not out fighting lions and tigers and saber-toothed tigers like we used to, but our bodies are still there doing the same thing. When you have to make a decision, your body says, pay attention. You start having stress, and that's good to help you pay attention. Unfortunately, the stress in our lives today is not just because of help us to make good decisions. Too much stress, like too much of anything. Heck, even water will kill you, if you have too much of it. Too much stress, chronic inflammation, your body breaks down. When you have a routine, that's just a little less stress. A routine is a way to avoid making a decision. Now, I'm not telling you don't make decisions. Don't get that right. But what I am telling you, when you do things in your life that are pre-planned, like even, you already know what you're going to wear in the morning. You already know what you're going to have for dinner tonight. Any of those things that you can note that you have an automatic system to do that, it's less stress. And I think everyone on this call knows that. If you do some kind of menu planning, it's stressful sometimes just to cook for people. But when you have everything planned out, you routinely know when you're going to start dinner or start cooking. You know when people are going to come home. Your body is under less stress. And this has actually been measured. I'm not just talking out of my hat here. These chemical responses have been measured. Secondly, it comforts you when you have a routine, partly because that you're not under as much stress, but it tells your body, okay, we're on a clock here. And your body loves that clock I told you about. If you looked at all the chemical changes in your body without outside influence. As the day progresses, different chemicals kick in at different times. And when you have a routine, that cements that process. It tells your body, okay, I'm on the clock. We're running, it's good. Now, when you get your routine messed up, you get some stress because your body's saying, wait, what's going on? Wait a second. I thought we were going to do this and now we're doing that. Yeah, more stress. Just like you're walking down the path in the woods and a bear jumps out in front of you. That's changing the routine. Well, that's what that stress is there for, to alert you. But if you just continually get stressed, you're going to wear your body out. And then you have loss of memory. You end up having loss of sleep. Your chemical imbalance is off. You can even get IBS. And it's related directly to worry. Hard to separate some of those things: stress and anxiety and worry. But routine will shut those things down. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. In fact, I'm going to tell you this: it may take you months and maybe even a year or two, but you will notice some benefits right away within the month or so. Have a routine. It sets your clock. It tells your body that you're on track, even if you're not thinking about it. Your body wants to know it's on track. So you get up at 7, and then you eat breakfast at 8, and you exercise at 9, or you go to work, and then you have lunch at 12, and you come home and do these things. At least a few of those routines. Your body loves it. And when you get off of that track, your body does not like it. So establish routines and you will be healthier. Now, don't have bad routines. That's terrible, Don't do that. Oh, Dr. Joe said I have to have a routine, so I smoke a cigarette every day at 11 a.m. Come on, don't be like me. Don't be a smart aleck. Have a routine, just like I said. Get up and every day do the same thing at the same time, at least 4 or 5 things. You don't have to have everything planned, but as you have a routine, I'm telling you, everything will get better. Your blood pressure will drop. Your body will function better. You'll have better digestion. Yes, just because you decided to brush your teeth every day at 8:12 p.m., your body will benefit from that routine. Then you get into certain routines like going to bed. We talked about that. Go to bed every day at the same time. Do things. It sends signals to your body. It's getting time for bed. Go turn the lights out. You turn the lights out, not just because you need the lights down, but because going around and turning the lights out, having that routine tells your body, has been programmed, tells your body, okay, we're getting ready to sleep. And it goes through chemical processes. That has been proved by scientific experiments. By just having the routine, they can measure the amount of melatonin in your body. Just say, okay, every day at 10:12, I turn the lights off. Even if you don't go to sleep later, there's more melatonin comes in your body because of that routine that was established. Okay, that's the important thing, routine. Then what is the routine that I have? I told you I would share that with you. And I'm telling you, it's not for everybody, but it's mine, and you can modify it as you see fit. Some people like to exercise in the evening. Some people like to exercise at noon. Some people do it early in the morning. Some do it before breakfast, some after breakfast. You're going to have to work that out yourself. But for me, it's the first thing, have a cup of coffee. That is a routine. And I do exactly the same thing every morning. Well, I don't think about it anymore, but I was thinking about this week, knowing I was going to talk about this. I actually watched myself, and I did things I didn't even know I was doing. I went to a certain spot, I opened the cabinet, I watched myself do that. I said, wow, I'm programmed. I reach up, I get some supplements, take my amulin. The way I prepare the coffee, you say, oh, that's a habit. Yeah, that's a routine. That's what a habit. The only difference is a routine is a habit that happens at a certain time and in a certain order. I open up and get the coffee cup down, and I take the water, and I use a Keurig right now. I'm sorry for those people that hate Keurigs, but it's easy for me. And I put the water in the machine. I got a single serve. And then while that's doing, I take a water. I have some vitamins and supplements. And it's excellent to have fresh, clean, cool water first thing in the morning. It helps your body get lubricated, hydrated. I take them for my supplements, and then coffee's ready. I actually use some milk in there, and the milk sits at the same place in the refrigerator. And I'm just saying, wow, this is all automatic. I didn't even know you were doing all this, Dr. Joe. I go out on the deck. I look at the water. I'm fortunate to live on the ocean. And you know, if it's not storming, if I haven't been able to do that the last couple of days. But I drink that coffee, and I try not to think about anything. There's a plenty to think about. In an hour from then, my brain's gonna be going 100 miles an hour. I actually sometimes have to fight to say, no, don't do that. Don't answer the phone. Don't look at those texts. I know they're there. 152 of them this morning. I know they're there. Don't do it. Stay with your routine. I drink the coffee, and I enjoy it. I actually watch myself drinking the coffee. I smell it. This is actually a type of meditation, but I watch myself, and I'm very aware, mindful of what I'm doing without thinking of things I've got to do. And then I meditate. Now, what does it mean to meditate? Well, you could have a real simple definition that says it's just, mindfulness or non-mindfulness. There's sometimes some conflicting words here. Mindfulness, which means you take your mind and on purpose think about nothing except what you're going to focus on, and try to get rid of all stray thoughts. So the very least that you do in that is type of meditation, all the way up to very formal meditation, such as when you get into yoga and some of the Zen practices, which are very ritualized, but all the way down to the end of just calming yourself down for a moment and trying to think of nothing. That is a little bit of meditation. Now, listen, does it work? Well, everybody meditates. They just don't know they do. What happens when you've been in a car crash, or the house is burning down, or some terrible tragedy happened? You go up to somebody, you say, calm down, breathe, slow down, breathe, inhale, exhale, calm down. That's actually what you're doing, is meditating at that moment. Trying to stop, clear out all those thoughts. The house is burning down. Slow down, breathe. Breathe calmly in and out. You're focusing on that breathing. It absolutely will shut your heart rate down. It will slow it down. You can get it in the more advanced meditations where you can actually control your heart rate. I mean, way down, like into 30 and 20 and 10 beats per minute. You can drop your blood pressure. And we're not here to teach you how to do that, but certainly if you want to, by the way, everything, unlike a lot of practices, everything that I have studied myself online about meditation has been correct. It's very interesting. Unlike some supplements, some vitamins, some drugs, some different physical practices, I've not come across anything regarding meditation that was actually inaccurate. There are dozens, I don't know, maybe hundreds or so, but there are at least dozens of major meditation methods. And what these methods do are, through routine, train your mind to empty itself out, not really totally empty, but get rid of stray thoughts and focus on a particular pattern or thought. That pattern could be your breathing, some process in your body, your blood pressure, your heartbeat. It could be a mantra. It could be a chant. There's actually a meditation called candle staring meditation, where you light a candle and just watch and observe the candle burning, and don't listen to the dog barking, and don't listen to your kids beating each other up, downstairs, but actually just observing the candle without being analytical of what's going on. Just observe. And any of these things, whether you're focused on your breathing or you are doing a chant, you do that for a period of time. And when you have a stray thought come in your mind, acknowledge it, dismiss it, and move on. And after a while of some lengthy time, you're able to do that more easily, because at first, you won't be able to do it. It'll be nonsense. You'll get distracted. I read a story also just recently, had nothing to do with meditation, but it was meditation, where there was a golf pro that was having difficulty. He had missed the cut, and in California, and he went to a guy who was not a guy that was skilled in meditation, but he went to talk to a guy that he knew had some experiences. What do I do? He said he just went over to the whiteboard and drew a little black dot and said, sit here and look at that dot, and look at it as long as you can, and don't look at anything else. Just look at the dot. And after 8 seconds, 10 seconds, the guy realized he wasn't looking at the dot. He was thinking about something else. So called him back to attention. Look at the dot, until eventually he was able to sit there a half an hour and just look at the dot. And that improved his golf game, because it taught him actually really how to be focused. And that is the purpose of that meditation. Now, the health purpose benefit is to improve your health, improve your spiritual life. But the purpose, the physiological purpose, is to get your mind from having stray thoughts, and it reduces stress. Coupled with the routine, that also reduces stress. It gets right back to cortisol. And when you start being able to get rid of these abstract thoughts that just come and go, some of them are really good. Wow, I'm going to the ball game tonight. No, don't think about that right now. And as soon as you do, get rid of that thought and go back to what you're thinking. I'll give you just a really brief example. I personally practice Zen meditation, not the religious part, but the meditation Zen. So you learn how to breathe. It's a breathing exercise to start out with. And you get in the position, you pretend there's a cord that is stuck in your head and stretching you up. So you sit as if you're being pulled up and your spinal column is straight. Then you look out on the ground about 2 meters. You do not close your eyes in Zen, because they feel when you close your eyes, you can have all kind of imaginary pictures come in. Focus on something that's very nondescript, just like the sand, the beach, anything, the floor. Some people sit in front of a blank wall and then focus their eyes as if they were looking another meter past that. So it's to have nothing visual coming in. Keep your eyes open so that you don't get distracted, and start breathing and counting. 1 in, 2 out, 3 in, etc. And you count and try to get to 20. And you're surprised you can't do it without you're thinking about the meeting you got to go to at 11 o'clock. And say, okay, stop. And then you start over. 1, 2, 3, and you try. And if you get where all of a sudden you got 13, or you forgot what number you were on, you start over. And when you have a stray thought comes into your mind, acknowledge it. Okay, that was a stray thought. And you try to keep track on your breathing and counting. If you can't, start over. Man, that's a hard thing to do. But I tell you what, after a week or so, you can do it. You can go to 20, you can go to 30. And this is called mindfulness. And actually, it helps you in everything you do in your life. It helps you actually be a better driver, believe it or not, because you focus on driving, not distracted. And then you go from sitting meditation to standing meditation to walking meditation to driving meditation. So it doesn't mean that you're not thinking about anything. You couldn't do that. No, but you are mindfulness of what you're doing, and you have identified those stray thoughts. So that is just a brief example. And then you have also those meditations that involve some physical activity. Yoga is probably the most famous one. And it includes exercise and stretching and torture, if I can say that. I'm telling you, the reverse camel or whatever, forget it. So, but that, I think it's fantastic. And, when I was a boy, actually, I was interested in meditation. And the church that I went to, we were religious people. They came to us and said, you know, that stuff's sinful. That's all sinful. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to meditate. You're not supposed to empty your mind out. You know, just a bunch of nonsense. It goes back the other way also. You know, there's a movement in India to make it illegal for anyone to practice yoga unless they have the faith also. They don't want their divorce. They think it is cultural, religious appropriation. So forget that stuff. Do what's good for you. You'll find out that if you measured your chemistry, your cortisol will just plummet, your stress will plummet. If you have IBS, it will go down, your inflammation will drop, your heart will slow down, you'll get more oxygen in your body. And any of those related things that we talk about with Emily all the time, inflammation, that all will drop, measurably drop. Now, if you don't believe me, just go online and check it out. There's very excellent sources out there. Harvard, PubMed, those are the scientific ones. And then there's Healthline and Medline and WebMD. They have excellent information. They'll tell you what types of meditation to practice and where you can get more information. They're all very good articles. So start your life with a routine. I've already told you that will reduce stress. It really will. Have a routine. Your body needs a routine. Get rid of the bad routines, by the way. Stop smoking the cigarettes. And then start out your day, for me, with meditation. Now, after I do that for about 15 minutes, I don't do it long. The rest of the half an hour, I usually read some text. It could be a spiritual text. It could be quotes from people that that are smarter than I am, like Benjamin Franklin or somebody, or Gandhi, or Confucius, or self-improvement, self-awareness. And I don't let anything else happen during that half an hour. It's important that you take time for yourself. It's extremely important. And you say, well, I've got all these people to take care of. Well, you know what? You've heard it here. You've heard it everywhere else. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else. You got to put gas in the car every now and then. So, Jackie, that's really what I wanted to say. This routine, and started by some ritual. For me, it was taking coffee. You could have tea, or I have nothing, but have a routine. Then I do meditation, and then I try to improve myself with some self-improvement texts. Then following that is exercise, and we'll talk about that in the future.
Well, Dr. Ahrens, I'm in awe because regardless of age, as I said, you've been on this earth at least 21 years that I know of. So, it's really important. And I want to add to it, like the credibility behind it. Like it's something that Dr. Ahrens has actually researched to bring this information to you, even though it's his personal routine that he's talking about. There's a lot of research gone into this call to bring you what he knows that he has researched to say, well, this is actual fact. And from what I've taken out from it, and from my own personal experience on the importance of being able to start your day off right, from having my own background with this, is that a routine is really important. Being selfish and taking time out for yourself isn't selfish. Like, it's selfish to look after you so that you can be a better person for those around you, which Dr. Ahrens has mentioned. Getting up and getting sunlight straight away to kick those endorphins into gear, like the feel-good endorphins. Learning how to breathe, like when things do get overwhelming, take a step back. Dr. Ahrens has mentioned one area. There are plenty of areas in being able to slow your breathing down. Control your breathing so you can find calmness within. Try to take chaos into some sort of calm when you're in that environment and in that space. I also would like to add, Dr. Ahrens, personally for me, others may find the same. Document it. Like, if we're talking about routines, if you're a busy person, schedule it into your day. I know some people will set alarms. I know some people use Alexa. They may use those types of things to keep them on schedule because they're so busy. So they want to make sure that they acknowledge that they matter, because life does get very busy. And regardless of when you finish your career, you retire, you've then got grandchildren, you've got other things that you're doing, that you can get quite caught up in this cycle and you forget about the most important person, and that is you. So invest time in your health before your health invests all of your time. And what Dr. Ahrens has spoken about today, I think is really important to understand that it's something that is critical to start your day off well. I will say this is warm lemon water too. It's not coffee, to kickstart and boost my day as I go forward, and to be present in the moment. Take that time out to be present in the moment, mind, body, and soul. I know there's lots of those loose words that are put out there or quotes, but when you sit back and you really look at it, meditating might be reading a book. There's many forms of it. So Dr. Ahrens, I want to thank you, because what you brought to the table, even though I had a little bit of a laugh to myself, and it's my sixth sense of Aussie humour, you're talking out of your hat. I really wanted to say, thank God you didn't say you're talking out of your hair, because you don't have any. So I can't help it. It's been amazing, because meditation has been practiced for hundreds to thousands of years in different cultures. So it's not something that's just been invented. It's been around for a long time. So I want to thank you. Is there anything that you'd like to finish up on today's call?
Well, somebody listening to this call might say, oh, I don't know, they didn't say anything. I knew that. Well, I challenge you to go ahead and follow this advice. People they take off during the day and they're out with you, or you're going somewhere and they say, oh, I just didn't have my coffee this morning. And we just brush that off, okay, they needed a caffeine hit. No, that's not what it was. Your body is actually saying, wait a second. Nobody fired the go button. Your clock gets whacked the whole day. These are real things. Pay attention to them. And so I challenge people to just try it. It's not going to be an overnight success story with meditation. The routine thing will show up better, quicker in your life, the benefits. You'll see less stress. You're going to have to modify it to your own life. Some of you have babies crying in the middle of the night, or you got to get the kids out to school. I get that. But you need to find the time. If it doesn't work for you in the morning, you're going to have to flip it around. Do the best you can. You've got to take your own time. And I'll just put in a couple of plugs for yoga and Zen.
Well, you guys have all heard it. So find the mat, and the mat might be what I showed you earlier. Find that mat so it consciously puts you in that space. You set yourself up mentally to commit to doing that. And I think that's something that you visually can see. As I said, I brought props to the table today. Bring your yoga mat to the floor, because you visually are then recognizing that you're committing to sitting there for that time out. And that may be what you need to do. I use it. I love it. My husband, David, uses it. Like, he is an avid exercise person, and he will stretch every night religiously. Like, it's that mat comes out, even though the dogs jump all over him, but he will draw that mat out and he commits to it. So it's a routine. So Dr. Ahrens, I really appreciate this. I'm sure everybody else has. And I want to thank everybody yet again for joining you, and for those that watch this afterwards. Next week, we are going to be talking about what everybody does. Sometimes we just don't do enough of it, but the importance of exercise, regardless of what your capabilities are, regardless of what your challenges are in your health, your mobility, etc. Let me say, there is an exercise for everybody that you can do. You've just got to think outside of the square and alter it to suit what your capabilities are. So next week's going to be an exciting topic as well, because exercise is really important to get our body moving, mobility, make us feel good, and then we get all those added benefits from it. So thank you so much, Dr. Ahrens, for this week's call on routines, setting the day off on the right foot, meditation, the importance of it, and looking at also, if I say routine, it is also looking at exercise, food, all of those things are in your routine as well that all matter. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.